Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Info Days dedicated session on the European Union mission, Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030. I am Kęstutis Sadauskas, Mission Manager and Deputy Director General for the Director General of the Maritime Affairs and Fisheries in European Commission. As most of you know, Horizon Europe EU missions were launched in September 2021 to support Europe's transformation into a greener, healthier, more inclusive and resilient society. Our ocean, seas and waters are precious resources for both the planet and our well-being, and yet we have not always taken good care of them. With a 2030 target, European Union mission Restore Our Ocean Waters therefore aims to achieve healthy marine and freshwater ecosystems through research and innovation, citizen engagement, and blue investments. And we need every single one of you to make it happen. Mission Ocean and Waters provides many opportunities for researchers, regional local authorities, the business sector, and the citizens to join forces and develop solutions that will safeguard our marine and freshwater resources, increasing their resilience and sustainability. Some of you might have applied for or been selected for previous set of calls for proposals published in 21 or 22, and I thank you sincerely for your interest and commitment. Today, we are here because we just launched the third wave of actions with a budget of 118 million euro for the Mission Work Program 23. You will hear about the topics that address the specific European sea and river basins where we support the development and deployment of transformative solutions, as well as cross-basin initiatives, as there is in fact only one ocean and all waters are connected. From north to south, east to west, the mission leaves no one behind through the concept of associated regions in all relevant topics of the Mission Work Program. We have also partnered with the Mission Adaptation to Climate Change and Mission a Soil Deal for Europe to launch joint calls on specific relevant topics, such as increasing water retention capacity and addressing nutrient pollution. Overall, we still target three main policy objectives. First, protect and restore marine and freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity. Second, prevent and eliminate pollution of our ocean, seas, and waters. And third, ensure climate neutral and circular blue. And the aim to boost the mission's key in enabling activities, which is first developing the digital ocean and waters knowledge system, so-called digital twin ocean, as there is much about the ocean that is still a mystery, and enhance public awareness and citizen engagement through visibility campaigns, education, and culture. I encourage you to connect and cooperate to make change happen on the ground. By applying to calls, you are joining a collective endeavor, joint mission to restore our ocean and waters. I'm sure that you are already doing your fair bit beyond Horizon Europe, and thus also take the opportunity to invite you to join the mission charter with own actions and initiatives that contribute to the mission objective. It is time to get on board and restore our blue planet together. I will now give the floor to Michaela Gili and Roberta Zobi, members of the Mission Secretariat, for an update presentation on the EU's mission, Restore Our Ocean Waters by 2030, and its basin scale lighthouses. I wish you a nice day.
Thank you to our mission manager. Hello, my name is Michaela Gili. I'm a policy officer at DG Research and Innovation. And we will now provide a general presentation and update of the mission implementation. And then we move to the presentation of the ocean mission call topics from the work program 2023. So as was just said, the mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters is a strategic broad mobilization initiative. It's a powerful means to develop and demonstrate innovative solutions to restore our ocean and waters and trigger technological, social, business, and governance transformations needed. It will promote new forms of cooperation, allowing everyone to play an active role. EU missions are expected to support Europe's transformation into a greener, healthier, more inclusive and resilient society. They aim to bring tangible benefits to people in Europe and engage Europeans in their design, implementation, and monitoring. Our mission will importantly contribute to the European Green Deal, putting more blue into the green. So as you can see on this slide now, we have a horizon, not the previous one still, please. We have a horizon up to 2030, where we target 3 main challenges. The first is to protect 30% of the EU's sea area, restore marine ecosystems, and achieve 25,000 kilometers of free-flowing rivers. We aim to prevent and eliminate pollution by reducing plastic litter at sea, nutrient losses, and use of chemical pesticides by 50%. And we aim to make the blue economy climate neutral and circular with net zero maritime emissions. To support these 3 mission objectives, we rely on 2 cross-cutting enablers. One is the digital ocean and water knowledge system, and the other one is the public mobilization and engagement. And I would like to go to the next slide, please. The mission has a strong regional dimension. We have lighthouses, which are sites that develop, test, and deploy transformative and innovative solutions in 4 specific areas. We have the Atlantic and Arctic basin, we have the Baltic and North Sea basin, we have the Mediterranean Sea basin, and we have the Danube River basin. So for the first phase of the mission until 2024, we are focusing on 1 objective per basin. Eventually, however, we need to achieve all our objectives everywhere. For this reason, we have embedded the concept of associated regions in all mission activities. The rationale of associated regions is that we want to support innovative solutions also in neighboring regions or in regions in different sea basin areas with similar ecosystems that can benefit from the lighthouses demonstration activities, or in less developed regions that need to build capacity to implement the innovative solutions developed under the different projects. In other words, the rationale is that we do not want to leave anyone behind. Several actions happen across basins as well. We support, for instance, research and innovation to establish blue parks, waste-free rivers, smart and sustainable fishing gears, community-driven ocean farming, and we aim to restore and protect natural lakes, as well as nature-based solutions and nature-inclusive concepts for offshore renewable energy. Next slide, please. I will now go through a few points on how you can contribute to the success of this mission. So as you see in the next slide, we have a mission charter, and the charter calls for joining efforts to achieve the 3 objectives and 2 enablers of the mission. Any actions you pledge that can contribute to the mission objectives are welcome, such as projects, initiatives, programs, or policies promoted by public or private funds at EU, national, regional, or local levels. We want to establish a simple and inclusive framework to enhance cooperation, mobilize resources, and develop activities to deliver on the mission objectives. Our charter is non-binding and open to any public or private interested parties. Next slide, please. Why sign the mission charter? Because you can send a clear signal on the importance to protect our ocean and waters. You can be involved in major mission fora and events. You can multiply your opportunities for networking, be part of a community of practice, benefit from the mission services and tools, and benefit from a dynamic investment ecosystem. And in the next slide, I show you how you can adhere to the charter. The process is very simple. On the mission website, you will find a link to endorse the charter, where you can submit your relevant actions. once these are assessed, they will be listed as mission actions and will be displayed on an online mission atlas, which we can see as an example in the next slide. So this was the mission charter. So now you have also the possibility to participate in mission-related events. And with this, I invite you to join us for the first ever annual forum of the EU missions, of the EU mission Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030. We will together take stock of the first year of implementation of the mission, showcasing the first portfolio of projects and actions to achieve the mission's objectives. The in-person event will take place on the 17th of February at the Royal Museums of Fine Arts in Brussels. The registration is open. You may find the link to the agenda and register either on the mission's official websites, under the events section, or on this Info Days webpage sessions program. You will find it under related links. And this very slide will also link to the registration form, which you will find after the session. So now, I believe we go on to discuss the more concrete calls for proposals of today and how you can be part of consortia and associated regions in Horizon Europe projects. So we have, so this is our third mission work program year. We had a number of calls opened in 21, in 22, and today we're discussing the 2023 work program. Let me go to the next slide. So I will walk you through a few features of the work program 2023 that we're discussing today. It was adopted on the 6th of December and the calls are now open for application. This work program follows an impact-driven logic of Horizon Europe and the European missions and continues actually to support major EU policy objectives, such as the EU biodiversity strategy, the EU action plan towards zero pollution, the communication on a sustainable blue economy, and the nature restoration law that was recently adopted. It continues to have a special focus on the lighthouses as hubs for development and deployment of transformative innovations in terms of technological, social, business, and governance innovations in the four sea and river basins that I showed you before on the previous slide. And it complements the work programs 2021 and 2022 with further actions and new research and innovation areas, as well as supports the mission's first phase development and piloting that will last until 2025. So in this work program, our calls still address the three policy objectives and the two mission enabling activities, which I also presented previously. There are a few other actions common to all missions, such as support to the mission boards and the Solidarity Corps. Our total indicative budget for all the mission ocean topics is 87.7 million. And in addition, we have two joint calls with other missions for a value of 31 million. The closing date for you to apply is the 20th of September, and we hope this gives you ample room to propose high quality actions. So conditions and features common to mission innovation actions. We will discuss a few concepts which are not new in our work programs. You might be already familiar with them, but for those who are not, I give a general outline now. But we will also highlight these features in the presentations on the specific topics that will follow. So for several of the topics, we have an additional eligibility condition, which requires that consortia must involve and include partners from at least 3 countries of a given sea or river basin that they focus on, which means that in addition to the 3 countries that needs to be in a proposal, in addition to that, demonstration activities must happen in at least 3 countries in the given basin. Then we have also the use of Copernicus, Galileo, EGNOS for satellite-based observation, positioning, navigation, timing, data, and services. Next, we continue with the concept of associated regions that you might be familiar with already from previous work programs, which we define as areas with ecosystems that can benefit from demonstration activities. So there might be also less developed regions with the need to build capacity to implement the innovative solutions to restore marine or freshwater ecosystems. So they can be located in member states or associated countries other than those that are part of the project consortium. So this is the idea behind. And here we work with what we call in other terms cascading funding, or officially support to third parties. So the consortia that apply to our projects, they will need to give funding as as cascading funding of up to 100,000 euros to these associated regions to showcase feasibility, replicability, and scale up of the solutions. And last but not least, we have the Mission Digital Knowledge System, or DTO otherwise. So this supports projects that collect in situ data and marine observation, must make their data openly available through the European Marine Observation and Data Network based on FAIR principles. So before we dive into the presentation of the topics, we would like to invite you to ask questions during these presentations using Slido. So here you see how you get access to Slido. Please insert the mission info day to join the event, and then select the room Restore Our Ocean and Waters by 2030. Now it is important that you make reference to a specific call topic. So you can either use the call identifier or make reference to the title of the topic. Please note that we will favor questions related to the topics rather than general questions on Horizon Europe. And we aim to take as many questions as possible. With this, we will now kick off the topic presentations. Our project officers will now present in detail the 13 new topics included in the Mission Work Program 2023. We will do the presentations in blocks per mission objective and enabling actions. Throughout this presentation, there will be 3 separate rounds of QA using the Slido platform. So now we are starting with objective 1, protect and restore marine and freshwater ecosystems and biodiversity. We will present the 5 topics related to that objective. And after that, we have a Q&A session. And I would like to give the floor now to my colleague Marcin Sadowski to start with the Blue Parks Innovation Action.
Thank you, Michaela. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the first topic addressing the first objective of the mission, which, just to remind you, is the protection and restoration of ecosystems and biodiversity, with the aim of having 30% of the EU's sea and freshwater areas, marine areas protected, and 10% strictly protected. This is the third time that we have a Blue Parks project. There was a topic. There was one in 21 and another in 22, and this is the third. So we are continuing the European Blue Parks, and the outcomes are roughly the same. We are looking for an effective management of marine protected areas based on science. We are looking to protect and restore marine habitats and species to achieve an enhanced resilience and adaptation potential of coastal and provision of marine ecosystem services, and the designation or extension of marine protected areas, and or a shift of their status from protected to strictly protected. This is the 30%, 10% that I mentioned before. Identification of ecological corridors as part of the Blue Trans-European Nature Network. Projects should contribute to the mission's digital ocean and water knowledge system, as has been mentioned. And we would like to reinforce the EU leadership in international efforts to combat biodiversity loss. So this topic is directly connected to such policy areas as the EU biodiversity strategy, the sustainable blue economy strategy, these are the ecosystem services, and the EU climate law, because of the enhanced resilience of ecosystems. So next slide, please. Right. Sorry, I have 2 sets of slides. So this is a call for innovation actions. The total budget for the topic, expected budget, is 8.8 million. And we feel that this should be enough to finance one project, although this, of course, does not exclude asking for other sums. The key is, of course, to have a budget that makes sense in relation to the actions foreseen. So the additional eligibility conditions that were mentioned apply. If satellite data is collected and used, it should be Copernicus, Galileo, EGNOS. Data that is gathered should be using the FAIR approach and be made available via the European Marine Observation Data Network. The involvement of national and local authorities and the engagement of citizens is very important here. And of course, since this is the third Blue Parks topic, there are already Blue Parks projects out there running, and it is expected that new projects should liaise with them. So the scope of the projects is developing and demonstrating protection and restoration solutions. The aim is to significantly improve the management of marine protected areas, again through science-based conservation objectives, mainly passive restoration actions, although active actions such as, for example, reintroduction of species, if they make sense, are also possible. The proposals have to be site-specific, obviously, for the blue parks. Their scale and range should be ecologically relevant and make the required impact. An important thing is the potential for replicability and scalability. Indeed, projects are required to provide a scalability plan, and they are expected to create and ensure long-term maintenance of adequate conditions for habitats and or the movement of species, and increase the resilience of ecosystems and their adaptation to climate change. Voilà, that's all for this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marcin. And I give the floor to Eduardo Casarotto for the Danube topic.
Thank you very much, Michaela. Marcin, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining us today and this important discussion about the Mission Work Program 2023. So now let's go through the Ocean Choo-Choo call. Demonstration of effective and sustainable management of sediments in the Danube River Black Sea system. We are talking about an innovation action here, and the policy context is similar to the one that Marcin just described, linked to the EU biodiversity strategy. Its targets, of course, the future EU nature restoration law that was recently proposed, but also the EU climate law and, of course, the wider EU Green Deal effort. So for this specific topic, the main expected outcome is the support European legislation implementation and the updated river basin management plan for the Danube, researching a solution for sediment management, including, of course, restoration of sediment balance and sediment flow, which is particularly important for the Danube River. The transnational and transsectoral cooperation between national authorities and other actors is highly envisaged. So, of course, we need to consider the existing frameworks, and in particular the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River. And of course, it will contribute as well to the mission, the Digital Ocean and Water Knowledge System, the digital twin of the ocean, developing models and data that will be part of this core infrastructure in the future. If you could move to the next slide, please. On the scope, here we highlight the measure to restore sediment flow, reduce erosion and sedimentation, and of course improve then sediment quality, giving priority to nature-based solution. That's a very important element. The topic, as we said, must link with the International Commission for the Protection of the Danube River and former and ongoing projects, not only in Horizon Europe and the Mission Work Program, but also other programs such as Interreg or LIFE. For example, there's an important Interreg project, Simona, that is monitoring the Danube sediments, is an example of a project to which we should look at synergies and strong cooperation. Then it is important to highlight that there are also additional eligibility conditions, such as the need to demonstration activities in at least 3 member states or associated countries, as Michaela described before. There's a system of third-party cascading grants with 5 associated regions, and of course, the need to use the European observing capacity through Copernicus, Galileo, EGNOS, and use data through EMODNet. The indicative budget per project contribution is 8.5 million euros, so total EU funding will be 70 million euro for 2 projects. Maybe we can move to the next topic. Perfect, thank you. So topic 0103, this one related instead to the Atlantic and Arctic Sea Basin Lighthouse, addressing climate change and human activities threats to marine biodiversity. In this case is an innovation action, and the policy context is still the same, the EU biodiversity strategy, the zero pollution action plan, the sustainable blue economy strategy, the Green Deal in general. The expected outcomes are linked, of course, and must address marine biodiversity loss, the use of sectoral and technological innovation, while linking with local stakeholders and coastal communities. This is a very important element that comes in the mission. Engagement with communities, with citizens, with local stakeholders is a very important element and an added value that we are looking in the mission. The project will also be expected to deliver on the implementation of the EU legislation and different strategies and action plan, and we need to contribute also in this case to the digital ocean and water knowledge system, the digital twin of the ocean. Maybe we can move to the next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. On the scope, we highlight the need for demonstration of ecosystem-based conservation measures, while reducing cumulative pressure from human activities and the impact of climate change. Understanding the impacts from a system perspective is absolutely important if we want to find the solutions to the most pressing challenges that our oceans, our waters are facing. Another important element will be the cooperation with the fishing communities, indigenous people were relevant, and relevant stakeholders. These elements, again, of engagement are highly recommended in the proposal. And to finalize, also in this case, additional eligibility condition, demonstration activities in at least 3 member states or associated countries, third-party cascading grants, also in this case with 5 associated regions, and here as well the use of Copernicus, Galileo, and a fair data approach also through EMODRET. Regarding the budget, the per project contribution will be of 8 million euro. The topic will fund 2 projects for a total of 16 million euro. I think I concluded. Michaela, I'll give the floor back to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eduardo. And I would give the floor now to Roberta Zobbi, please, for the European natural lakes topic.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. I have some technical issues, so apologies if I don't turn on my video. So we move to topic 0104 about European natural lakes. This is the first time that under the mission we address natural lakes. And the topic is about demonstration of integrated approaches for the protection and restoration of European lakes, ecosystems, and biodiversity. This is a topic very important in relation to the contribution of the activities for the implementation of a number of European pieces of legislation, in particular the European Green Deal, the Biodiversity Strategy, the Zero Pollution Action Plan, the Water Framework Directive, just to mention some of them. We also, if we can go back to the previous slides, please. We also expect activities to enhance cooperation between different actors, in particular municipalities, regions, and also whenever there is a transnational dimension between different countries. And we expect, of course, through the activities under this topic to improve the status, ecological status of natural lakes. Next slide, please. In terms of activities, the focus of this topic is on demonstration of integrated and replicable approaches to protect and restore natural lakes, ecosystems, and biodiversity. We expect a significant improvement of the ecological and chemical status of lakes that should be maintained in the long term. And integrated approaches should cover both physical and biochemical elements, and also address in an integrated way different types of pressures: water level regulation, water extraction, agriculture, aquaculture, navigation, different sources of pollution. So we look forward to a real integrated approach. There is an emphasis on nature-based solution and circular bio-based solutions for the restoration of natural lakes, and also socioeconomic aspects are to be considered in relation to the provision of ecosystem services and possible development of business models. The topic has an indicative budget of 12 million. We do expect a contribution per project of the order of 4 million. As for other innovation actions under our work program, there are a number of additional conditions. So we do expect demonstration activities to take place in at least 3 member states and associated countries. We do expect the use of Copernico, Galileo, and EGNOS in relation to satellite operation, if foreseen. We do expect consortia to implement cascade grants for the associated regions. We do expect the activities to have a strong replicability and scalability aspects, and we do expect to implement a fair approach in relation to data. We expect that data are publicly made available via EMOTNet. Thank you, and back to you, Michaela.
Thank you very much, Roberta. The sound was very good. I would give the floor now to the last presenter for the mission objective 1 on the joint call. Please, Martin, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Michaela. So hello again, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a joint call of 3 missions coming together, climate, ocean, and soil, in a topic about increasing the water retention capacity at a regional scale. So, of course, water is fundamental to life and therefore to biodiversity, and this addresses the first objective of the mission, but it is also crucial to climate and important for the soil. And so here we go, 3 missions in one topic. So we are aiming to increase the water retention capacity of the land scale of the soil, and through this to increase resilience to climate change impacts on soils, waters, on the habitats, and the biodiversity. So this is the objective of the topic. We would like to see a significant mobilization of the relevant actors, local, regional planning bodies, farmers, foresters, landowners, etc. And there is the concept of multi-actor approach here, which I will touch upon in the next slide again. And of course, enhanced implementation of the relevant EU legislation policies, the European Green Deal, climate adaptation strategy, the biodiversity strategy, water framework directive, groundwater directive, soil strategy. So this is a very wide-reaching topic. And the scope is, well, it's an innovation action. We are looking for full-scale demonstrations of socio-ecological approaches to increase the landscape and soil water retention capacity and resilience to climate change. Nature-based solutions primarily, although hybrid solutions are acceptable as long as they are sustainable and provide adequate safeguards that they shall not harm the environment in any way. The multi-actor approach for demonstration activities, this I believe is a specific term to the soil mission. It does not just mean having a large consortium. Basically, it means that end users of all kinds should be involved in the projects at proposal stage. So in setting up the aims and goals of the projects, and then participating in the projects. So all kinds of end users, not necessarily scientific end users. And in order to have an uptake of the solutions, the involvement of the relevant authorities and local communities is also important. Now, this is not a lighthouse action. It is not localized in one of our necessarily in one of our sea basins, but by necessity it will be localized somewhere. So the additional eligibility conditions apply. Demo activities in at least 3 member states or associated countries, the 5 associated regions from other regions, the multi-actor approach, so the participation from the start of end users, the use of Copernicus Galileo, and the findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable approach to data made available via EMODnet. And innovation action, as I said, the total budget is 15 million, which we think should be just about right for one project. And I think that's all for this topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all the presentations. And with this, I'd like to hand over to my colleague Roberta Zobbi to guide us through the Q&A session.
Yes, thank you very much, Michaela. So we move to the question and answer session. There are a number of questions for topic 0101. Ship emission monitoring is also in the scope, and the type of habitats in different regions should be several habitat system covered, or how many? Marcin, do you want to reply to this, please?
Sorry, I was replying, but I was muted. I've lost the questions now. Sorry, looking for them. Ship emission monitoring, I think the general rule is that everything that is not forbidden is allowed. The question is always how relevant is it to the Blue Park and to the to what the project will be doing to set up the marine protected areas. So if it makes sense and you can convince the evaluators that it makes sense, then there is nothing against. How many habitats? There is no numerical limit or guidelines for how many habitats. I think the key here is the scale that should be sufficient to make an impact, a noticeable impact. So this is the only criterion really, is the impactfulness of the project and therefore of the range. Roberta, do you want to add or supplement that?
I think you addressed the question. I think we can move to the next one unless there are further requests for clarification. There is a question on 0103 first. If there is a country that wants to participate, how can this third country be involved?
Yes, Roberto, I can try to answer. Thank you very much. Very interesting question. It's important to note that the work program follows the rules of Horizon Europe, which is open to the world. Horizon Europe has already around 16 associated countries, and all countries, all institutions, research institutions, universities, NGOs can participate in the consortium from every country in the world, following the different rules of eligibility for funding. For example, institutions that are based in a low or middle income country have access to funds directly from Horizon Europe, and they can participate in the consortia. So in your application, you can engage with partners from third countries and ask them to participate involve them in the consortium. You have to note though that all the demonstration activities and the associated regions, so the cascading grants that are linked to associated regions, must be carried out in European waters, in a member state area or in an associated country area. So you may be aware of the 16 countries that are associated. There are several that are in the process of association right now. It's an information easily available on the Horizon Europe website. And in case you have a specific question, you can also send us a request for a specific clarification. But in general, participation of third countries is welcome, and many of them can even access to funds from Horizon. Thank you.
We move to the other set of questions relating to topic 0104. So concerning the nature-based solutions, actually the focus is on nature-based solution. Hybrid solution can also be proposed, provided that there are no negative impacts. So justification in relation to hybrid solution should be also provided explained in the proposals. The definition, we refer to the definition of the Commission, so solutions that are inspired and supported by nature, which are cost effective and simultaneously provide environmental, social and economic benefits while helping to build resilience. This is a definition that we refer to. And in relation to coastal natural lagoons, in principle, these are not covered because the focus is on European natural lakes. Going ahead with the questions, I think there are other questions relating to 0104, so demo in 3 member states, associated countries, plus 3 associated regions. Actually, in the introduction, we explained the concept of associated regions. Associated regions are not sites where we expect demonstration activities to take place, but actually we expect the involvement of associated regions to help them to build plans for possible replication of the activities that are demonstrated in member states and associated regions. Then we move to question on 104. On EU portal, circular biobase is not mentioned in the expected outcomes while it is in your presentation. Which document should be considered? Well, there is the reference to bio-based solution is in relation to the type of activities is the reference is in the scope of the topic. The impact that we do expect is in relation to improvement of the ecological status of the European lakes. Back to topic 0101, Marcin, in relation to the Black Sea, if it is considered for the scope of the topic.
Topic 0101 is not associated with any specific sea basin. That is one part of the answer, and so sort of in the context of this topic, it doesn't really matter. Generally for the mission, yes, the Black Sea is in the Danube and the Black Sea basin. So it's not comprised in the Mediterranean, but the Blue Parks topic is not a basin-specific topic.
And then next question, again, for Eduardo, in relation to ship emission monitoring, if this is in the scope of the topic.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm not sure which kind of emission the question refers to, probably CO2, greenhouse gas, or sulfur pollutant emission. Of course, shipping is included and cited in the topic, and of course the emissions coming from ships or the ship-related activities that have an impact or are a threat to marine biodiversity are part of the scope of the topic. So, of course, everything is welcome. As the important element to consider is the link to marine biodiversity. So, which kind of emissions are we referring to? Scrubber, residues, sulfur emission. How it is linked to to marine biodiversity and how it represents a threat. It has to be, of course, explained in the proposal so that the evaluators can link the kind of emission you are referring to, Martin, with the topic that we are addressing here with this call. Thank you.
Okay, I think we can move to the next session, just to refer to two answers which are provided in Slido. Now I don't see them any longer. Yes, I do. It's the registration link to the forum for the conference on the 17th of February. The link is on Slido, and actually any further question may be always sent to the functional mail.
Dear everyone, I'm not sure if it is myself or you all have the same issue. Maybe Roberta, you have some sound issues?
Same issue, yeah, same issue. There's a connection problem.
For the last 30 seconds, there were some gaps. I don't know if you can keep on a bit more until we see if it's fixed. Otherwise, maybe another colleague takes over.
Yes, let me transition to the next session. So we start now with the presentation of topics under mission objectives 2 and 3. And I would like to give the floor to my colleague Anna Maria Stan for the presentation of the first topic. I see she's not in the meeting at the moment. There might be other connection problems If Roberta also still has issues, could I ask Marcin, perhaps, if you would be ready to go to topic 0106, the cross-basin topic on innovative? Because we need to...
Yeah, okay. We are running ahead of time, so maybe there are more questions, but if not, then I can proceed with 0106. Yes, can we move the slides to 0106?
We may indeed also do a quick break and solve any IT issues, because indeed we are quite advanced.
We have a margin, I think, compared to the planning. So maybe we can have a short technical break to catch up with our timing and solve the issues in the meantime.
Very good idea. We have a 10-minute break. We will start again at 10:40. According to schedule. Thank you. See you at 10:40 for the next block of presentations.
Thank you, Michaela. I suggest that we keep the streaming on as it is now, and we are all back and continue at 10:40 as you suggested. Please keep your mics off, and we're back in 10 minutes.
Okay, I think we can resume with mission objective 2, prevention and elimination of pollution in our ocean and waters. I will give the floor to Anna Maria Stan for topic 0101 under objective 2, which is a joint topic with mission soil, and it addresses the Mediterranean Lighthouse. Anna Maria, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, everyone. So I will present this a joint call between the Mission Ocean and the Mission Soil. It's a joint demonstration of approaches and solutions to address nutrient pollution in the landscape river sea system in the Mediterranean basin, and it's an innovation action. So about the policy context for this call, it is in the overall frame of the implementation of the European Green Deal, and it also responds to the farm to fork strategy, the biodiversity strategy for 2030, the soil strategy, and the bioeconomy strategy. Also, of course, the EU action plan towards zero pollution for air, water, and soil. As I said, it's a joint call between Mission Ocean and Mission Soil, as it responds to Objective 4 of the mission, a soil deal for Europe to reduce soil pollution and enhance restoration, and to Objective 2 of the mission, Restore Our Ocean, which is to prevent, minimize, and remediate pollution of marine and freshwater ecosystems. So what does this call aim to achieve? It is about accelerating the uptake of innovative approaches to prevent and remediate both soil and water pollution from, on one side, excess nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, in the river catchment sea system and transition waters in the Mediterranean Sea Basin, and also the same uptake for reducing the use of fertilizers. So in order to prevent and remediate nutrient pollution and reduce ocean and inland water eutrophication. This call involves also, has a very strong component of empowering citizens to take action against pollution of soils, water, and ocean. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. And coming back to the scope, it basically resumes what I said before in the objective. It is about demonstration activities addressing the landscape river catchment sea system in the Mediterranean Sea basin, and there is a focus on upstreaming, prevention, and reduction of nutrient losses from soils, and also reduction of traditional fertilizers, but also improved retention and retention capacities. And also there is a big focus on prevention, so the reduction of entry of nutrients in river catchment areas and estuary of seas. The demonstration activities will need to take place at the level of territorial units and considering local conditions, because of course we have this overall objective, but the application will be at local level, and it needs to involve the users, the landowners, the local authorities in charge of soil and water management, or river managing authorities. The budget for this call is 16 million euros, and the call can accommodate 2 projects of 8 million each. And there are this important additional eligibility condition, like the demonstration activities should take place in a minimum 3 member states or associated countries. The project, as appropriate, should use Copernicus or Galileo data. There is a possibility for third-party cascade grants up to 5 associated regions for that. There is an important component of education, preparing people, communicating about these important objectives. And the JRC can take part in this call. There is a cooperation with the GRC European Soil Observatory. Thank you for your attention. I have ended with this the presentation for this joint call.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Just to warn you about the fact that joint calls are in a separate part of the EU missions work program. So they are not under the chapter for Mission Ocean, but they are in a separate section of the EU missions work program. Now we can move to mission objective 3, which is about making the blue economy sustainable, climate neutral and circular. And I can go on with the first topic under objective 3, which is topic 0105. It addresses the lighthouse in the Baltic and North Sea. And the topic is about greening and supporting energy efficiency for small-scale fishing fleets. It's a topic that will contribute to the implementation of the European Green Deal objectives and the EU biostrategy.
Roberta, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It seems that there are again some sound problems. I don't know if we could give it another try for a few seconds to see if we can fix it, or if another colleague could possibly take over or jump to another part until you fix it.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Now it's improving, yes.
Okay, so shall I start from scratch?
I think it was that slide that we started losing you. So you can continue.
Okay. Okay, I was moving to the expected outcomes, and actually activities should help to provide a better understanding of the technical, legal, social, and policy barriers to decarbonization issues in relation to fishing vessels. Activities should also contribute to reducing fuel consumption and emission, and of course increase energy efficiency. By doing so, we expect them to accelerate the transition, the green transition for fishing vessels. We also look for an increased number of choices for the users and the development of responsible behaviors. Monitoring data in relation
Sorry again, Roberta. It seems that we have lost you again. Do you wish to keep on trying fixing the problem, or I don't know, think we can hear someone else? I think we have lost you.
I can jump in.
Okay, we can move to the next slide, maybe. Can you hear me now?
Now it has improved. Now it's better indeed.
Okay.
I will let you know
Okay.
if the problem persists.
Okay, thank you very much, and sorry for this. So in relation to the scope, first of all, when we refer to small-scale fishing fleets, we refer to vessels of a size below 12 meters. The focus of the activities should be on identifying, testing, and validating a test of suitable innovative solutions that should be demonstrated in real conditions to reduce emission and fuel consumption of small fishing vessels. We also expect activities to analyze obstacles and opportunities, and provide recommendation about good practices. We also expect an assessment of the impact of these solutions on marine environment and biodiversity.
Yes, we have still some connection problem. I think Roberta was closing with the last point of the scope, highlighting the need to engage and maintain close cooperation with fishing and coastal communities, all the stakeholders involved, for example, port, the actors in the shipping energy transition, NGOs, national, international authorities, and local ones. Regarding the budget, in this case, we have a total of 12 millions allocated with a per project contribution of 4 million, sorry. So 3 projects could be funded through this call. Regarding the additional eligibility conditions, so in this case, we have the need to propose demonstration activities in at least 3 member states or associated countries, but specifically in the Baltic and North Sea basin. The use of EU observation capacity, Copernicus, Galileo, and EGNOS, and of course, linking with other relevant Horizon 2020, Horizon Europe projects, and of course, the partnership. We have a partnership on zero emission waterborne transport, which is studying and developing new solution for the decarbonization of the shipping sector at large. That could be very useful also for a small scale fishing fleet. And also in this case, a fair approach to data to be made available through EMODnet. Michaela, I'll pass it over to you, I believe, or directly to Marcin for the next topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, over to Marcin, please, for the next topic.
Thank you. Excuse me. So the title says it all. In fact, it is about reconciling offshore renewables with ocean protection. So this topic addresses a very broad policy context spectrum. As you see, the biodiversity, the zero pollution action plan, the sustainable blue economy strategy, and the EU climate law. So a large part of the Green Deal here. And now the thinking is that, of course, all innovations also bring the risk of creating new problems, and we would like to avoid mistakes made in the previous centuries and think about these possible problems before they arise. So here we are expecting new environmental friendly design of offshore renewable energy platforms. As we are moving to more and more renewable energy and offshore energy, this becomes or will become a burning problem. So new design standards for nature inclusive design in the offshore renewable sector so that we can accelerate the green transition while protecting nature. So the restoration and protection targets and the energy targets together. Next slide, please. So the focus here is on multidisciplinary approaches and again, nature inclusive design of offshore renewable energy platforms in a life cycle approach, starting from materials and including planning, installation, maintenance, and end-of-life issues. So everything should be considered, also noise issues, all possible effects on the environment. It could be argued that wind energy has already been addressed to a certain extent, but there is no need to be limited to wind energy. So other technologies beyond wind can absolutely be considered. Tidal, wave, floating, whatever. And what we would like to get from this research and innovation topic is recommendations for long-term monitoring regimes of the expected impact and risk assessment. What are the risks associated with such and such a method? This is what could allow us to move forward in a safe fashion. So research and innovation actions, low TRL 3 to 4, total budget of 4.5 million, and we are expecting 2 projects to come out of this. But again, this is a non-binding limitation. The usual use of Copernicus, Galileo, EGNOS data to be made available via the European Marine Observation Data Network. The do no significant harm principle is key here. What we want is offshore renewable energy safe for the environment. To this end, it is important to involve industrial actors, especially those involved in the set plan, so that the standards developed and the solutions to be taken up later are in fact taken up by the industry. That's it, I think. Thank you.
Many thanks, Marcin. And then we give the floor to Eduardo for the last topic under Mission Objective 3.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michaela. Good morning, everyone, once again. This topic, 0107, is the analysis of the obstacle and opportunities for repurposing aged and or unused offshore infrastructure. And we are talking about research and innovation action. And I believe it's quite an interesting and novel topic, which is also very much linked with the previous one presented by Marcin, 0106. And it focuses on understanding the legal, political and technical landscape linked to the management of old infrastructure at sea, which is an issue that we can expect will grow in the future due to the many offshore infrastructure that are being built and will be built in the coming years to match the energy transition needs in Europe and not only. So the expected outcomes here are the overarching targets of the call to study new marine restoration solutions, create sustainable business models for repurposing offshore infrastructure no longer in use, and an overall contribution to the circular economy transition and the Objective 3 of Mission Ocean. In this case, we are talking about a cross-basin topic, so not specific to a sea basin or a lighthouse area. Okay, we are already in the next slide. On the scope, you can read here the main objectives. So what can we do with the old platforms, old infrastructure from a legal, technical, and also social perspective? So could repurposing be better than removing? So we should look into that from a marine conservation, ecosystem protection, and cost-benefit analysis perspective. What could be the possible business models for the different options that will make repurposing effective and efficient? Another very important point is linked to the implication for policy and decision making, in particular from a legal and regulatory point of view. Linking it also with the need to address public acceptance, which is an issue that is very much linked with offshore infrastructure in many of European regions. We need to ensure the buy-in from stakeholders, so how we can engage communities, citizen, coastal businesses, so that offshore infrastructure are accepted, repurposed, and made, let's say, available for these communities. So the project will also include a specific study on decommissioning offshore oil and gas installation. So in this specific case, we are talking about a study on offshore oil and gas installations from a technical, legal, and political analysis around also the complementarities and synergies that must be ensured. The budget for this call is around 1.4 million euro. And let me also highlight the additional eligibility condition, such as the need to use existing EU observation capacity, open and accessible data following the FAIR principle, compliance with the general principle of do not significantly harm, and finally, of course, in the mission spirit, identify at least 3 promising sites for future demonstration of activities for repurposing offshore infrastructure and platforms indeed. Thank you very much. Michaela, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eduardo. This concludes our presentations for mission objectives 2 and 3. And so we go now to the QA session. And we're starting with a question on the joint call on ocean soil. Can the upstream prevention activities take place also in the far upriver alpine region, for instance, apple and wine growing areas? I would start by saying yes, because the call text points out that the demonstration solutions include all relevant elements of the water system, including also groundwaters and furthermore surface water streams and so on, up to the relevant coastal waters. And I leave it up to my colleagues to add anything. So the landscape river sea system, the entire system needs to be targeted. So if the demonstration activity can prove that the system is concerned, then indeed it can be relevant. So please, I don't hear any colleague adding anything. So another question, we will not apply for a topic, but we should build links with the mission, particularly Mediterranean Lighthouse. Any recommendations on how to do it? Well, first of all, you are very welcome to apply to the Charter with your actions, activities, local, regional, national, or European projects. And our upcoming mission implementation platform and other tools, as well as the coordination and support actions in place for the entire mission and for the Mediterranean Lighthouse could be a relevant partner to collaborate with. Do we have Roberta or another colleague who wants to add anything?
Well, I think you will not apply for a topic, so it means that it is not, the focus is not on research and innovation, but Michela mentioned the charter where different types of actions you can engage and commit to support the mission through different types of actions, like, for example, training and education, like, for example, mobilization of citizens and stakeholders in joining the mission and maybe benefit from a number of solutions which are through different types of activities becomes available, or technical services which are provided, for example, via the mission platform. Other activities are in relation to deployment of solution at basin level. It depends, you know, what kind of activities you want to contribute with. Back to you, Michaela.
Thank you. We still have a bit of time left. So if our audience has more questions, rather than sending them by email, please ask them here in Slido so everybody has the chance to hear the answers. If you have any questions, we're still here.
Michaela, sorry, back to the Mediterranean Lighthouse on the question of how to contribute to it. In addition to what you and Roberta said, I think it's also relevant to mention that the coordinated support action the CSA for the Mediterranean Lighthouse will kick off next week, and they will start to organize forum events targeting workshop and initiatives in order to bring together all relevant stakeholders. It is important to follow the activities of this CSA for the Mediterranean for those who are interested to enhance synergies and cooperate with other Mediterranean stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Indeed, a very important addition. Thank you very much. And we have another question on the cross-basin topic on innovative nature inclusive concepts to reconcile offshore. Is it an advantage to consider different ocean basins in this call, or would it be sufficient to focus on the Atlantic, for example? Marcin, would you be able to answer this question?
I would say, okay, the topic is not basin specific. It is general about reconciling renewable energy and the preservation of marine habitats. It is difficult to say whether it is an advantage. I mean, we're looking for standards, so I would say this is a more of a general topic, but the main thing is always that it has to make sense in itself, the proposal. So if there is something that is that makes sense in the Atlantic and would absolutely have no sense in the Mediterranean or the Baltic, then it is probably an advantage to concentrate on one. But otherwise, it's open. It's about standards of renewable energy and not being harmful to the environment.
Thank you, Marcin. And if you would like to continue, because the next question is on the same topic, can fisheries be included in this call?
Okay, I'm not sure what fisheries included in this call means. So it's a quite general question. My general answer would be that if the work program does not say that something is absolutely not allowed under this topic, then everything that that makes sense is allowed. I am not an expert. I don't see at first sight a direct link between fisheries and but okay, no, I can see links. So yes, in a sense, I could imagine that fisheries could be included in this call, as long as it addresses nature inclusive design of renewable energy, and fisheries are in the sense of fish that are to be preserved.
Very good, thank you. And we stay with you because we have another question on this call topic. What do you mean when mentioning building links with EU partnerships like CET, Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership, or the EIT and its KICs?
Okay, well, building links, by building links we mean, or what we are thinking about here is our perennial wish to avoid fragmentation on the one hand and overlaps on the other. So if you have too many institutions or initiatives working on similar subjects, and these initiatives are not talking to each other, this is not good. So I think by building links, we would like to make sure that future projects are aware of the activities of the KICs, of the Sustainable Blue Economy Partnership, of everything that is relevant, and that we do not double our efforts, we do not work against each other, and we profit from things that are being done elsewhere. So both for the project and for the partnerships. So building links basically means being aware, being in contact, knowing what they are doing.
Thank you very much. We go back to the question on clarifying the links with the mission. So not being a member in a consortium and implementing a project, but rather other means to collaborate with the mission. So we have the question, where will information on the Mediterranean Lighthouse CSA Forum events be available? So what I can start with saying is that at the moment, yes, indeed, we are working on a platform that gathers all relevant information on our mission. So this is a contract being which starts right now. So there will be an online forum, an online platform where you can find all this information. In the meantime, you can find information on the projects, for instance, the CSAs that are being that were funded following the 2021 work program. They have all started now in between December and January. All the projects from the 2021 work program, they have just kicked off. And maybe a little complex method is that you look at the work program, you type the call topic identifier into, you put it in your internet browser, and it will lead you to the Cordis website of the EU. And in Cordis, you will find information on all the projects that are being funded following the mission call. And it will also lead you to the external link of this specific project's website, because all projects under Horizon Europe are obliged to have their own website. So on this website, you will be able to find all the information for now. And like I said, we're working on gathering all the information in one place for you. And I give the floor to my colleagues if you would like to add anything.
No, indeed, there will be, of course, as you mentioned, their website, which will be available soon after the kickoff, because they are obliged. And in there are all the relevant information with the contacts of people.
Thank you, Claudia. We have last questions. Are there any requirements for the involvement of SMEs in the call text? I'm not sure which specific call, if you refer to a specific call text, or for all calls and topics that we're launching. I'm not aware of any specific requirements on SMEs. Of course, the participation of SMEs in Horizon Europe and also in this mission is strongly encouraged. Yeah, we're having, of course, we would be very glad to have a lot of business and industrial stakeholders on board in our mission calls. Any additions from the colleagues? So no specific requirements, but as you know, yeah.
Michaela, sorry to interrupt. I think that it depends very much on the topics. Of course, SMEs are more than welcome, and there are some topics, as for example, the one on the small-scale fishing vessels, where we do expect to have end users, and in this case, many of them are small enterprises and often even family type of ventures. Thank you.
Thank you for this important addition. And I would just like to add for the question on the CSA and the Mediterranean. So the title of the project is Blue Mission Med. It's one word, Blue Mission Med, and the kickoff meeting of the consortium will happen next week in Venice, 26 to 27. You need to see on the website to what extent this is an open meeting, but for sure the project will organize conferences and other public events that you can actively participate in. I see no further questions. Then with this, we are right in time to go over to the presentation of the mission enabling actions. So we have the digital twin ocean and water knowledge system. And after that, we have two topics that our colleagues will present. And after that, we have two topics on the citizen engagement enabler. So if everyone is ready, I would give the floor to Zoe to present the first DTO topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. Before going directly to the topics, if you can go to the next slide, I'd like to give a little bit overview of the whole digital twin ocean actions that are, if you could go to the full slide without the movement, sorry. To the next one, thank you. As we have discussed in previous information days, the digital twin ocean is going to be the key part of the knowledge enabler of the mission ocean. It is comprised from different actions. Many of them are part of the mission Restore Our Oceans and Waters. Some are outside the mission, and the idea is to create a system a knowledge system that will incorporate data from different sources, models, and other technological developments that will allow the development of demonstrators in the lighthouses of the missions and beyond in order to address different aspects of the ocean activity and of the system. Next slide, please. We try to develop the topics in the mission regarding the digital knowledge system in a manner that will gradually address all aspects that the digital twin ocean needs to cover. The previous topics have covered underlying models and the public infrastructure of the digital twin ocean that is going to be a public service, aspects of biodiversity monitoring and of eDNA. And now in 2023, we're going to address issues related to the integration of social ecological models into the digital twin ocean and the development of a roadmap for the integration of inland waters into the digital twin ocean. That is the next step. Next slide, please. I'm starting with the topic on the integration of social ecological models into the digital twin ocean. That is going to be a research and innovation action. The policy context that is related to both actions relates with the development of making ocean and water knowledge available to everybody, with providing a set of user-driven, innovative, and interactive tools based on digital technologies, and to the empowerment of all to collectively share the responsibility that we have towards maintaining, conserving, protecting, and better managing marine and water systems regarding big challenges as climate change and biodiversity decline and more. Regarding the specific call, the expected outcomes are the development of social ecological solutions that are going to be incorporated as tools in the digital twin ocean, aiming to the better management of different human activities in response to multiple societal change with policy implementation and with avoiding negative outcomes of policies and of human activities. Another outcome is the ability of social ecological model to assess impacts of environmental changes, human pressures, policy implementation on oceans and seas, the development of a sustainable blue economy in hand by hand with societal prosperity in coastal and marine areas. The development of integrated modeling approaches that are going to originate to different disciplines that refers to different sectors of the blue economy and different parts of the social activity, and focusing on different levels of analysis and incorporating methodological frameworks that can come in collaboration in coordination with other models that are going to be available in the digital twin ocean. It is very important in this outcome to address different spatial and temporal resolutions in this kind of social ecological approaches, and to ensure the interoperability of transdisciplinary data and science, including social and ecological data. Next slide, please. We expect that the proposals are going to address the availability and accessibility to spatially explicit social and economic data, and to methodological protocols that are going to connect the social and economic models with environmental models. The development of a wide range of social ecological models, tools, and different kind of applications that will allow the assessment of what-if scenarios and the impacts of environmental change, the policy options, and decision-making. the investigation and development of different kind of methodologies to address social economic systems that will incorporate analysis further than models through statistical approaches or other kind of methodological approaches. And the development of integrated ecological and socioeconomic indicators to help in the assessment of the impact of environmental policy and management change, and the development of processes and tools to accompany these social ecological approaches with participatory approaches in the development of policy scenarios and the encouragement of stakeholder engagement. The indicative budget for this call is going to be 10 million euros. And we expect that we are going to find 3 proposals. It is quite important to ensure the use of Copernicus and Galileo's to link any proposal with the DTO projects that have already been funded in 2021 and 2022 and before in the mission and further, and to follow a fair approach to data that can be made available through the European Marine Observation and Data Network. Next slide, please. The next topic is going to be CSA action, and it's referring to a roadmap towards the integration of inland waters into the digital twin ocean. I'm not going to go again through the policy context. The expected outcomes refer to the creation of an inventory and of a prioritization of EU and cross-boundary international policies that are related to inland waters. The creation of an inventory of relevant input from national meteorological services. An inventory of actions that are taken regarding inland waters, different projects and programs that are running in the member states and beyond. An analysis and an inventory of the current European digital systems and information for inland waters. And I would say here the connectivity also with the marine environment, the development of a digital service portfolio for a digital twin on inland waters that is going to be able to connect with the digital twin ocean. And finally, a roadmap for the integration of assets, development of functionalities, and interfaces and standards regarding data that refer to inland waters. Next slide, please. The general scope, in order not to repeat a lot, is to go through international policies around the inland water circle, identify the relevant stakeholders, their requirements, the different data sources, the past and ongoing research projects that are active in the area, and the creation and the roadmap towards an information system regarding the technical and operational projects that are already running. It is expected that in the scope of the proposals, we would like liaison with the national meteorological services and with the different digital approaches that are running under Destination Earth. Also critical analysis and preliminary design regarding different use cases, existing achievements, and recommendations for digital infrastructures regarding the inland waters in Europe. And finally, a roadmap towards the implementation for a digital twin with priorities, with data sources, and with different kind of methodological and other resources. all in the framework of compatibility with the digital twin ocean and with Destination Earth. The indicative budget for the CSA is 2 million euros, and one proposal it is expected to be funded. And again, we are expecting a certain link with other digital twin ocean related projects funded under the mission and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now we go to the public mobilization and engagement enabling activities. And we start with the Choose Your Fish campaign. Roberta, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and I hope to be able to present you this topic with no technical problems. So topic 0110 is Choose Your Fish. It's a CSA, and the idea behind is to develop a campaign for a responsible consumption of products from this.
I believe we experienced some connection problems again. So unfortunately, we cannot hear you, Roberta. Would it be okay for Claudia to take over?
Yes, yes,
Thank you
sure.
very much. Excellent.
Sure. Thank you. Here Roberta started to describe this topic, the expected outcomes. First of all, to develop media products to provide information about the seafood and aquaculture consumption. Of course, to raise awareness and inform citizens, to reduce the food waste and carbon footprint, and to increase the consumption of local and seasonal seafood. This topic is related to the policy context, in particular of the EU biodiversity, the Zero Pollution Action Plan, Sustainable Blue Economy, to name a few. In the next slide, the scope of this topic is to focus on a campaign to raise awareness, to promote responsible and sustainable seafood consumption. It is important, again, to create effective media products to reach out a wider range of stakeholders and the citizens in particular through tools and initiatives. In order to reach out to this target group, it is important also to develop and set up outreach campaign both at geographical level and different segment of consumers. The local and regional specificities should be considered through the involvement of key stakeholders such as consumer association, on seafood retailers, a small medium enterprise. The indicative budget for this action is 2 million. And per project, the contribution is 2 million, is a coordinated support action. And it is important to link this topic to the Taste the Ocean initiative. If it is okay, I will continue then to the next slide. Number 11. Yep. Can you move the next slide, please, on topic? Voilà. Okay, thank you. Now, with this call, we ended to the set of topic for the enablers. The topic refers to ocean, waters, and arts. Art and the creative sector can play an important role in aim to raise awareness about the challenges and pressure faced by the ocean and inland waters. At the same time, we aim with this topic to mobilize the artistic communities and the creative sectors in order to create a sense of connection between the coastal and maritime communities with their habitat and their ecological cultural heritage. This action should bring together citizens, museums, aquaria, research institutions, as well as architects and civil society citizens with artists and other creative sectors to foster interdisciplinary experimentation and entrepreneurship. In the next slide, the topic will provide support through third countries. Can you move to the, thank you, to countries. The call will then be implemented via cascaded grants. The calls will be published based on the transparent, fair, and objective evaluation selection process. They should ensure high visibility for the selected actions, and they should highlight the contribution to the mission objective. The proposals are encouraged to build synergy with the relevant activities supported under the Creative Europe program and the new European Bauhaus initiative. The budget is of 2 million, and the maximum amount to be granted to each entity is 50,000 euro. With that, I give the floor to you, Michaela. Thank you so much.
Many thanks, Claudia. And with this, we conclude the presentation of all topics for today, and we move to the last Q&A session. We are starting with a question on the DTO. And with the question that, or with the remark that missing from the DTO is the need for common ontology standards, much needed for interoperability. Is this expected for future work plans? Would Zoe be able to reply to this?
We cannot comment on future work plans currently, but every topic, since the community is in a very good and well understanding that everything in the development of the digital twin ocean is connected, I would say that some part should be already addressed in the calls as have been developed currently. In the extent that they support the theme of the topic, but for the future work plans, we cannot comment currently.
Thank you very much. Is any of the colleagues able to answer the question on 0110? So accessible and engaging media product, can this be a homepage or an app?
Okay, I can give it a try, Michaela. Yes, it can be very well, but actually keep in mind that the idea behind is to ensure a very, very broad outreach and also target different segments of consumers, including children. So what we expect is to have very effective and creative media and tools to make sure that this broad outreach is ensured. And in relation to the next question, I lost it now. It's there. Yes, they can be involved in the CSA, MSc, and ASC. No problem at all in addressing also existing standards. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I was looking before at the question on the bottom, because this is what popped up. So I suggest we have a first go on this. Do you have any advice for how to search for partners from a consortium to form a consortium? My advice is to make use of the partner search function in the funding and tenders portal, where you have the application, and there are usually interested organizations that also look for other partners. So there where you can find the application form, go to the partner search. And if colleagues have any other advice, please go ahead. If not, we can move to the next question shown here. Can you better explain what and how do cascade grants work in terms of budget? Would Roberta be able to take this question?
Of course, no problem at all. Well, actually, when a topic is implemented via cascade grants, it means that the consortium is in charge of organizing and implementing a number of calls. For the topic 01011, we ask to include or to foresee at least 3 calls for proposals to be able to select artistic project. So when you prepare your proposal, you have to consider from a financial point of view the budget to be allocated to project that you will, for which you will launch call and that you will select. And actually in the topic we also provide some input in relation to minimum requirements for the calls that you are expected to launch based on principle of transparency, fairness, objectivity. So you have to ensure that calls are launched on the basis of these principles. And in relation to the budget, you have also to consider that for each project that will be selected under the calls you are expected to launch and implement, there is the financial support to third parties is of the order of 50,000 per project. So when you prepare the budget for your proposal, you have also to consider that part of the budget will have to be allocated to the project that you will select and implement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberta. I believe, if I heard correctly, you may have answered also the question on the bottom, how many projects are going to be funded with the amount of 2 million? If not, so the question, the answer is one project. So this is a CSA, and we have about approximately 2 million available, and we are looking to fund one project of the order of approximately 2 million. And I would go then to another question on this topic. 0111 that you see on top. Can the proposal be led by an individual artist, or must she be in a consortium? Yes, the rules for Horizon Europe is that at least 3 countries from EU member states or associated countries form a consortium. Should they have a link with a research institution? No. You can be affiliated to any other kind of organization that has a that is a legal entity recognized under legal law in Europe.
Michaela, if I can complement what you said, because I think that the question was asking something different. Actually, what we do expect is to have a consortium, bringing together different types of organization that can ensure the implementation of this topic via cascade grants. So honestly, I do not see an individual artist ensuring the implementation of the topic via cascade grants, because I guess that an individual artist might submit an individual artistic project, and this is not the aim of this topic. The topic aims at creating or at supporting a portfolio of artistic projects via cascade grants. Thank you.
Indeed.
If I may just add, sorry, because it's a coordination and support action, so it does not have to be a consortium of three beneficiaries from 3 member states or associated countries. But otherwise, as Roberta said.
Thank you very much for correcting this, Marcin. And indeed, yeah, please keep in mind that organizing a cascading grant is a very complex work. So yeah, you should have the appropriate resources to do this. Thank you. So then next is the Ocean 0108. Is there a good inventory of models and is their coverage already present in the DTO? And what is planned for the future? Zoe, would you be able to answer this?
Yes, in a level, I guess that this question asked for an inventory of models in general. Currently, there isn't one, but every action in the mission and beyond that is going to be involved in the Digital Twin Ocean will bring forward different models that are going to be used for the DTO, and an inventory is going to be created. Regarding socio-ecological models, that is the key objective of this call. It's the topics that are going to be selected, the proposals that are going to be selected that are going to create this inventory on socio-ecological models in relation to the existing actions. This is why it is extremely crucial for the proposals to include a part and a specific amount of work that is going to be interacting with the other actions related to the Digital Twin Ocean to allow for collaboration and to allow for transdisciplinary approaches to be developed there.
Thank you. And I see one last question for Roberta.
Yes, thank you. Back to topic, choose your fish. Yes, we expect to select only one project. We have a budget of 2 million, and actually we expect one project to be funded with this budget. Yes, in relation to cross-EU campaign, as I said, we are looking for proposals ensuring a very, very broad outreach and also capable to connect with number of existing initiatives, like for example what we have in DG Mare, the Taste the Ocean initiative, but also other initiatives that are implemented at national or international or even local initiatives. And finally, the minimum number of partners, this is a CSA, so the minimum number is 1 in this case. But for sure, if it is only one partner, you have to be capable to provide, to be credible in relation to the expectations of this broad outreach, which is expected under this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. And I see another question. For the budget, €2 million will be assigned to the consortium to choose several art projects of each €50,000.
Yeah, this is exactly what we mean. And don't forget that there is an additional requirement, which is we expect the consortium to implement at least 3 calls during the duration of the project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe there are no further questions coming in. I would like to, we are a bit ahead of schedule, so I would like to see if our Deputy Mission Manager, John Bell, is already here to continue with the closing remarks. Otherwise, we can also do this at the scheduled time at 12.
Hi, Michaela. I've been following carefully here, actually. If you let me know if you want me to start now. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, John. I think that would be lovely. Thank you.
Well, I don't know about lovely, but I'll do my best. So, good morning, everybody. It's been fascinating. I'm always, I learn so much in these sessions myself. I'm John Bell. I'm the Deputy Mission Manager. I'm from the Directorate General of Research and Innovation of the European Commission, and I work very closely with Kestutis and Andrea and Roberta, Michaela, Elizabeth, Marcin, Zoe, Eduardo, Claudio, and all the colleagues who've made such an impressive series of presentations this morning. It really is extraordinary, the work that is going on. And the mission, as you can see, as it will be where you're working, is a collaborative work between Commission departments, what we call Directors Generals for Maritime Affairs and Research Innovation, working together with other parts of the Commission. Because what we need to do is we need to work out from these great research and innovation engine rooms and try and find new ways of thinking about innovation and acting on it, and to deliver impact, to deliver scale, to deliver acceleration, to deliver connection with citizens, and to create, if you like, a body of solutions that can really help us to make these great transitions that we have ahead in all parts of Europe. I want to thank you for your active participation in this information session and your interest in applying for the new calls for proposals on the European Union's mission on oceans and waters restoration. It's very important that you've heard in the various sessions about the numbers of partners, about associate regions and other actors, that you work to bring in other actors, and that we work to get as many people involved in this work program process as possible. I hope that you found calls appealing and that you're looking forward to participating in them. I find them fascinating, listening to them when you've been part of the process for a long time and you see the work that people have done. I think they're extraordinary in many cases in the ambition and in the ingenuity of what we're trying to do together here. The success of the mission relies on active collaboration with key communities of actors from our oceans and waters, and this means really thinking a little bit laterally about who needs to be brought in alongside our key research and innovation actors. You know, people, the key people necessary to make the changes happen, such as our ports, islands, coastal cities and regions, fishing and conservation communities, businesses, NGOs, of course, with our research institutes and infrastructure bodies and our universities, who of course will be very active. You're part of those communities, and I really would invite you to include and mobilize more of these actors who may have something specific to bring to ensuring that the goal of these topics and calls can be delivered effectively and with impact. You all have a transformative vision that can be applied to the objectives of the mission. Most of the people in this area are very committed. This is an unusual opportunity to make something happen. So your ideas and your contribution on how to make the ocean and waters healthy again can enable us to roll out and scale up the best innovations for, we hope, generations to come. It's a really remarkable opportunity. Our missions offer a unique and dynamic investment ecosystem, so we can share knowledge, we can mobilize broadly, and convene a wider community of practice by applying. You have chosen to become part of this mission community. The mission is not an entity that we're all sitting outside of. It's something we're building together. And your participation in this session, your participation in the call on the topics is part of becoming part of a mission community, and you're invited here to shape that. So I'd like to encourage participants to connect, exchange, and cooperate beyond traditional partners and traditional research innovation communities, of course, involving them. Ask yourselves who need to be involved to deliver the impact that these calls and topics describe. The mission calls for innovation first and foremost in the way we work together. I'd like to encourage you to consider all the relevant actors necessary when building consortia. We've also launched our 4 mission lighthouses in the major European seas, oceans, and river basins: the Atlantic Arctic, the Mediterranean Sea, the North Sea, Baltic Sea, and the Danube Black Sea. So these are big place-based natural organizations for the communities of practice who are addressing this. And these are key to support the objectives of the mission that you will have seen, the 3 big objectives of the mission. They are the key motors to act as laboratories for innovation, to pilot, demonstrate, develop, and deploy the mission activities across EU's seas and river basins in real places with real people. They're also an opportunity to bring in the people who are active there into this process. The mission also has put together a charter to enable stakeholders and actors to come together, to be convened, to be mobilized, to deliver the mission. The charter acts as a simple, inclusive, and inspirational framework for actors who share the same ambition for our oceans and waters, and who'd like to pledge for its protection and act upon it. The key part of the charter is that people are signing up to deliver the impacts that the mission is about. The charter course is non-binding. It's open to any public or private interested parties, and I would strongly encourage you and the people that you're meeting with following this information session to get people to mobilize and to sign up to the charter, to show that there is a commitment out there across the lighthouses in the different parts of Europe in delivering this goal. Through the charter, we're mobilizing more and more actors to contribute to the objectives of the mission, strengthening cooperation, aligning efforts, deepening connection with communities of practice, and achieving critical mass for the systemic change needed to restore and regenerate our ocean and waters by the end of this decade. So we really strongly encourage all of our stakeholders, the people that you meet, to support the mission objectives and those capable of contributing to its success. And these are all kinds of different parts of our communities, to endorse the charter. Being a part of this joint effort by applying here and perhaps leading the implementation of some of this work program 2023 is really a key role for innovation frontrunners like yourselves and the people you work with. You have this opportunity, unique opportunity, and the capacity to translate our common goals into concrete, disruptive, and impactful solutions that will also give confidence to the people who live in these places to see that there is a better way forward, that there is progress, that there are people who are out there are making sure that there is an end point which this mission envisages, which is better for those who live and work around these sea basins. We're committed to supporting you in every way possible to achieve this transition, and we strongly hope that this 3rd wave of activities for the mission, which are incredibly impressive to me, will reflect your commitment, excite your enthusiasm, and mobilize your communities of practice within research and innovation and beyond it, on land, on sea, and across the waters of Europe. The deadline, critically, for submitting your proposals is the 20th of September 2023. The next work program, the Horizon Europe Missions Work Program 2024, is planned to be adopted at the beginning of next year, 2024. So look, thank you very much. I want to thank all of our colleagues for doing an extraordinary job in presenting and bringing together this work program. It's really very impressive. And I thank you again for your interest in what is your mission, and encourage you and to apply, and to encourage those you work with in solving these issues to apply. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, John. And with this, we close our session for today. Thank you very much for your attendance. You will be able to watch the info session for the soil mission at 2 p.m. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.